Hi guys, welcome to the Soul on Fire show. Today is Wednesday, so Wednesday we get to teach. I'm so excited because today we're going to go deep into the quantum fields. We're going to talk about trauma bonding energetically and matching energies and what that looks like. We're going to talk about the divine feminine and the divine masculine energies and how when you're in the unhealthy masculine and an unhealthy feminine energies and in a relationship, it triggers your emotional triggers for your soul's lessons to expand and experience this life on a greater expansion. And thank you for being here on the live. Thank you for watching on the replay. My name is Noelle Agape. I'm a leading expert in health, wellness, and consciousness, and I am a quantum trainer. And today we are going deep into relationships. We're understanding emotional triggers. We're understanding trauma bonding, and we're going to go deep into understanding how to move from trauma bonding into a healthy relationship, moving from where you are as in the victim state into an empowered state of being enlightening your relationship, moving your relationship to the quantum fields, moving your relationship into the beautiful, sacred masculine and the sacred divine feminine energies. So welcome. Thank you guys for being here so much, because the show is all about you, right? And so today we're going to get to teach. And so the most important thing that I want to talk about today is what trauma bonding is, what it looks like in the energetic fields, how it shows up energetically as your triggers, emotional triggers, and understanding the emotional body in a relationship. It is so important to understand the emotional body in a relationship. And as many of you know that have been on this channel for a while, there are 4 bodies that get to expand in this lifetime, right? And so it's the physical body, and this is your physical well-being. This is your vessel. This is how you carry yourself out to the world. This is the physical 3D reality that you embody. That is God through you, and it is this beautiful gift of being in a human embodiment. The second is the mental body, and that is you. All of you know that I'm an NLP master trainer, and in the neural net pathways, it is your thought patterns, it is your belief systems, it is the kinesiology of the body and the brain, and making the connection between the chemistry of the brain and the body, and understanding what happens with your thoughts as energy, and what it does for your body, what it does to manipulate your reality and your relationships. And then there is the emotional body, which is one of the most important, I believe, in the journey of expansion. And the emotional body is your guidance system. This is your heart space, right? This is what you feel in your heart, in your soul, and this is your purpose, why you've come here. These are the lessons that you learn in your lifetime, which we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about how relationships are mirrors, and they're showing you where the inner work needs to be done, and how to energetically move through the energy from a wounded space into a healthy space, and that will embody your relationship a lot more. And so I'm going deep into relationships today, so stay tuned. So the emotional body is one of the most important bodies, as this is your soul's journey, right? And so the emotional body is truly your guidance system. It teaches you where you are vibrate in the vibratory fields, and it shows you where you are in contraction or in expansion. And so, for example, if you're in fear or anger or guilt and shame or hurt, that's very low vibrations, right? And so you can't get up to love and bliss and enlightenment without being in the fear and the anger, because they're very different vibrations. And so your emotional body, if you're in the lower vibrations in your emotional body, you're in contraction. And if you're in the higher vibrations in your emotional body, that's when you're in expansion. And your soul is here for 2 reasons. It's here to experience and to expand. And I say this all the time, but your experience will be very, very unhealthy if you are not expanding, because your soul's entire mission is to expand, as well as energy can't stay stagnant, right? So if energy stays stagnant, that's stuck energy, and that's when it starts to be in contraction, and that's when it starts to move to depression and anxiety and all of the things that get stored in your body. So your emotional body is truly incredibly important to understand. And as we navigate through the divine feminine and the divine masculine energies throughout this show, I'm going to teach you about how you can physically understand the physical body, the mental body, the emotional body, and the energetic body, and tie them all in to the divine masculine, the divine feminine energies, and improve your relationships. Again, this is focused a lot on intimate relationships, primarily. but it could be any relationship. It could be a relationship with money. It can be a relationship with your children. It can be a relationship with your home. It's understanding that the divine feminine and the divine masculine energies and how powerful they are. And when you're in the unhealthy space in one of these bodies, that's what's going to show up in your life. And so the greatest gift that we have is our emotional body, as it shows us exactly where we are in the vibratory fields, right? And so very big lesson today. So sit down, get comfortable, because we're going to go deep into the energetic fields and understanding the energies of the divine masculine and divine feminine, and healing trauma bonding and matching energies. Moving into the energetic body. And this is where really most miss it, right? Most people are very emotionally intelligent nowadays with the mindset and moving past it. What most don't understand is that the energetic body is one of the most important bodies, as well as we are all energy, right? And so when we understand that we're all energy, and energy is always fluid and it is moving, and when it is stuck in contraction, that's when we get stuck in our reality, and nothing moves from there. Especially in relationships, if you have old traumas that are stored in your energetic body, what happens is that you're reliving that energy over and over and over again. So we're going to learn today how to move through each body into the divine masculine, into the divine feminine, moving from the unhealthy masculine to the unhealthy feminine. I'm going to teach you how it shows up in life, with basically how it looks in the unhealthy, how it looks in the healthy. I'm going to teach you an exercise. Stay till the end. In the third segment, I'm going to teach you an exercise to actually move through the energetic and the emotional and the physical and the mental bodies and moving into the divine masculine and the divine feminine energies. So let's just get started and talk about the physical body and what that looks like in the masculine and the feminine energies. And again, it's masculine and feminine energies, guys. We all have a masculine and feminine energies within inside of us, just like a tree has the masculine and feminine energies. It's the Fibonacci code that we have of nature through us. And when we understand that we are nature, and when we understand nature, and we understand the chemistry and the physics of nature, and it truly allows us to understand who we are as humans as well. We just have consciousness, and we get to make choice from that. So the greatest thing in the world is that most of the world right now is living in a conscious space of living in the space of the wounded masculine or the wounded feminine, or the unhealthy masculine, the unhealthy feminine. But it is a choice that we can make on a daily basis. And those that know me know that I am recently in one of the best relationships of my life, but it's also been very challenging because we have established a lot of woundedness in us. And so what we have moved through is what we get to bring out to the world. And when you understand that it's coming up to be healed, it's coming up for you to bring other things out into the world, it is such a different perspective, because it allows you to not be in the victim, and it allows you to be in your empowered state. It allows you to move the energy out of you, and allows you to be in a healthy, beautiful relationship, right? So let's just get started and let's talk. I'm going to just read off of this chart because it's the easiest for me to do that. That way you have an understanding and I don't miss anything. So the unhealthy masculine shows up often as very, very competitive. It is always in comparison, right? And so it looks like comparing yourself to others or competing against others, knowing that that's really a very unworthy energy. I'm not worthy, right? And so I have to compete. I have to be greater than this person. It looks like the wounded warrior very often. The other very big one that is so present in the relationships today is the cold and distant, and this is the avoidant personality. This is when somebody, and a lot of these traits can fall under the narcissist and the empath as well. And I'm going to teach you how to not be in the narcissistic and empathic energies and move into the empowered space of that, because a lot of the world in relationships is living in the narcissistic or narcissistic tendencies and empathic energies, where they bounce off each other, but it's bouncing off of each other in a negative form. So avoidant personality looks like, this is my defense mechanism. I'm going to ghost you. I'm going to, pull back. I'm gonna not express my emotions. I'm going to be cold and distant to you. I'm going to put separation between you and I. And everyone knows there's not separation. There's no separation at all, right? We live in an energetic world. The next is reactive or aggressive, and this is a very, very wounded masculine that is incredibly present in today's society. And when it's when you get into arguments, or when you're yelling, or when the high end of it is abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse. That's really a wounded masculine energy. Most of the time when you're yelling at someone, most of the time when you're reactive in that space, it's anger coming from a space of anger, which is a very low vibration. And it's a very wounded vibration, right? It is, I'm gonna push my energy out onto you because I'm not feeling comfortable right now. I'm feeling hurt. I'm feeling angry. I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling, guilt or shame, whatever it is. A lot of the time in the wounded masculine, and again, not male or female, it's that just the energies that come through is when somebody is yelling at you, when somebody is reactive, when somebody is not in their power, and they're trying to control, that is a very unhealthy masculine energy. So stuck in their mind, this is a very, very big one. This is when I call the monkey brain, right? Where your brain just keeps looping and looping, or it's the ADD, or it is, you can't get centered, and you're all over the map. It's a very chaotic energy, and it shows up in relationships that way. It shows up as, the highs and the lows. And last week I spoke about the polarity, and I'm going to speak about that again today, is understanding how to navigate the polarity and not swing from codependent to independent, which is codependent is I need you and very, very needy. And the independent is I don't need you at all. I could do this on my own. Interdependent, it is truly just understanding that we need each other and we need to get through it. But when you're stuck in the mind, this is really such a disconnected energy from source, God, source, the universe. And it is really it's the wounded masculine, but two, it's, I got to do this and I got to do this. And it's worry, it's anxiety, it's underlining fear, right? And that's what is driving that force of being stuck in the mind. It's not being able to quiet yourself. It's not being able to be centered. It's not connected in any way. Moves away from love. This is one of the biggest ones that I have noticed, in that it's a huge defense mechanism that people do. What they do is they move into a vibration that's not love, and understanding that love and bliss and joy and enlightenment, those are the highest vibrations, right? When you're not in love, you're always going to move down lower vibrations, right? And so when you're not acting from a space of love, or you're not responding from a space of love, or you're not in your heart space, that's a huge one. This is where people have heart walls. This is where they're very closed off. This is where they shut down when people, they have a fear of intimacy. This shows up in relationships as a fear of intimacy. And so, this could show up as anything. It could show up as ghosting. It could show up as gaslighting. It could show up as abuse. It could show up as disconnect. It could show up as narcissistic. It could show up in any way that is not from your heart space, any way that is not in love. And those are the prominent wounded masculine energies, right? And so often in a relationship, when they show up as I am hurt, I am angry, I am sad, I am guilty, I am in shame. And behind that is a core belief, right? I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, I'm not safe, secure, and protected, I'm not lovable, I'm not whole and complete. And so anytime someone is acting in these wounded masculine energies and wounded feminine, which I'm going to go over in just a moment, it is coming from the wounded space, right? So the wounded child is coming out and saying, I don't feel worthy right now. I don't feel lovable. I don't feel safe right now. I don't feel protected or whole and complete. And they're not actually saying that, but that's what their unconscious mind is saying. So there's the level of consciousness that you move through, from beta all the way to gamma in your state of thought and your state of being. the level of consciousness as the wounded masculine is very, very, very low vibration, right? And so it is, I am wounded and I'm going to project my energy onto you in this relationship, and I'm going to ask you to respond from that space. Now, one of the big things that I'm going to, before I go into the wounded feminine, guys, is it's incredible to understand that you cannot be in a divine masculine and divine feminine relationship and the dance that you're supposed to be in from a wounded or unhealthy space. So what you have to do is you have to do the inner work. And so now I'm going to talk about the feminine energies and what that looks like and how it shows up. And most of the time when a wounded or unhealthy masculine is present, almost always is the opposite of the wounded feminine going to respond in that way from a relationship point of view. And I just went through this in my own relationship where we were dealing with something that was, a push-pull thing, and it was this constant battle and the same fight over and over again. And we were, I finally had to stop, and I was like, wait. And the exercise I'm going to give you guys at the end of this video, it will change your life. I promise you it will change your life. But I just stopped and I was like, wait, he's in his wounded masculine, which is triggering my wounded feminine. And we're doing this dance of the wounded masculine and the wounded feminine. And I have to own that I was acting in a wounded way, and we were trauma bonding, right? We were bonding with the trauma and matching the energies of each other and getting in fights and then connecting and doing the loop of the abuse loop and the victim loop of the prosecutor, the hero, and the victim, going all the way through that. And that's what trauma bonding is trauma bonding is, oh, your pain and my pain are going to match, right? And we're going to match that energy, and we're going to be at this vibration together, and we're going to be in this wound together. And that is completely unhealthy, guys. And so the healthy version is the divine feminine, the divine masculine, that we're going to go into in the next segment. So the unhealthy feminine looks like very insecure and needy. And this is the anxious personality, right? And so most of the time when the masculine energies goes into the avoidant, and the feminine, again, not male, female, just one person takes over the masculine energies and the other takes over the feminine. The avoidant personality is, I'm going to pull back, I'm going to ghost, I'm going to gaslight, I'm going to do, narcissistic tendencies. That's a trait. That's a characteristic. It's an energy, right? It's not the person. And when you understand that it's not the person that's doing this to you, it is the energies that you guys are living in, right? And it's a choice to make a different choice in that. So the insecure and needy is the anxious, right? It's the chasing. Oh my gosh, he's pulling back. She's pulling back. I'm going to set, love bomb. I'm going to blow up his phone. I'm going to engage. I'm going to show up. I'm going to show him how much I love him, because I need him to know that how much I love him, because I'm very insecure. I need validation. I need security. I don't feel safe right now. That is a big thing for the wounded feminine, right? I don't feel safe right now. Again, very much in the victim, very, very much in the victim from that space. And so here's a very big, very, very big one, is inauthentic and manipulative. When you're in the unhealthy feminine energies, male or female, or that's in the unhealthy feminine energies, how it looks like is, oh, wow, well, they're gaslighting me, or they're ghosting me, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to strip down and get naked and use sex as a manipulation tool, or I'm going to be inauthentic, and I'm going to be the person that they want me to be, as opposed to just being you in that situation and leaning back and processing and doing the work, because they're actually teaching you where you are. Chases love. This is a big, big, big one in the wounded feminine. It is, again, it is when the masculine energies go avoidant, the feminine energies feel like they're losing. So it's fear of loss, it's anxiety, it's what's going to happen. And the feminine energies lean in, right? They lean in when the masculine energies lean back. When you do that, what's actually happening is you're both crashing heads, and you're both trying to battle for the energies of control. And so there's no polarity. It's never going to work in that situation. And the final is afraid of loss, right? And so the afraid of loss is so tremendous, because this is this person that I love is going to leave. And so this triggers a lot of abandonment issues. It triggers a lot of neglect issues. Anybody that was abused or abandoned or neglect, that it triggers that, right? And so if I lose you, they do everything in their power to gain the love back, because if they have that fear of loss, then they feel as if they're not whole and complete. They feel very distant. Again, I'm navigating through these as well, but I do the work, and thankfully, I've been a counselor for the last 20 years, an NLP master trainer and a quantum energy trainer. I know how to manipulate energy, and I know how to understand energy, and I know how to do this. If you don't know how to do this, guys, it's very, very much like trauma bonding. And what it looks like as trauma bonding is you're going back and forth between whether it's the narcissistic empath or the avoidant, the avoidant and the anxious, the runner, the chaser. There's 1,000 names for it. It is the same exact personality, right? It is these wounded energies from insecurity, from childhood, from the 5 core beliefs behind them are fear, anger, hurt, sadness, guilt, and shame, right? And so when you understand that behind all of that is, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, I'm not safe, secure, and protected, I'm not lovable, I'm not whole and complete. That is like looking for love in all the wrong places. Like you're not feeling whole within you. You're not feeling safe within you. You're not feeling lovable within you. You're not feeling in your power. You're not feeling good enough. You're not feeling worthy. So you're thinking that this person in your relationship that you're in with is going to rescue you. That person is going to heal this wound. And the only thing that you're doing is you're actually putting yourself more in contraction when you stay in the unhealthy feminine and the unhealthy masculine energies. So you're staying in contraction energies when you're competitive, when you're cold and distant, when you're reactive and aggressive, when you're stuck in your mind. That's a big one. When you move away from love, when you're insecure, you're needy, you're inauthentic, you're manipulative, you chase love, you're desperate, and you're in the victim. That's a huge one. In the wounded feminine is being in the victim. That's what society's in right now, is in victim always, right? And afraid of loss. Those are the biggest ones. They're very big characteristics that will harm every relationship you're ever in. And it doesn't matter how long you've been together. If you're matching the energies of any of these, you're trauma bonding, right? And so the victim loop is the trauma bonding. And again, it's the prosecutor, the hero, and the victim. And sometimes you're doing all of those within yourself, and sometimes you're doing all of those within your partner, right? And so when you take yourself out of that situation and you put yourself in awareness and you put yourself in the present situation where you could say, okay, wow, how is this actually showing up? He's being super cold and distant right now. And so that's triggering me, right? That is triggering me to do what? When he acts this way, or when she acts this way, it triggers me in my masculine, feminine energies, right? In that trigger, I feel what? From that space, okay, what's my pattern when I feel that way? Oh, okay. So I feel hurt and angry. When he acts cold and distant, I feel hurt and angry and unloved. I chase love. I feel unloved. I feel hurt. I respond in the way where I blow up his phone or something like that, right? That's a very unhealthy trauma bond that you keep looping over and over again. From that space, I want you to find a belief system behind it, right? I'm not worthy. I don't feel worthy right now. I don't feel lovable right now. I don't feel whole and complete. I don't feel safe, secure, and protected right now. And your unconscious mind will tell you, if you walk through this journey of the trauma bond. And you always get a choice. You get to choose to be in the victim or not in the victim, to be in the narcissistic or empath energies, or to be in the runner chaser, or whatever it may be. God's never going to take away your free will. So from that space, let's look at what the healthy feminine and the healthy masculine look like. And we're going to talk about how trauma bonding truly is energy matching. And when you change your vibration, you change the relationship completely. So the healthy masculine, he creates safety, right? And so it's not he, I shouldn't say he, the healthy masculine energies create safety, right? So you feel very safe to open up, to be vulnerable, you feel safe to love, right? Holding space. This is such a powerful thing to do in a relationship. When you're holding space for someone, you're allowing them to be as authentic as they can. You're allowing them to be vulnerable. You're giving and receiving love to a person when you're holding space for them, to see them in their power as an empowerment, as opposed to putting them down as the victim, right? So witnessing isn't non-judgment. This is tremendous in today's society, right? If we look at our partner with non-judgment and stop and say, where are they coming from right now? Oh, they're in a wound right now. They're very hurt right now. They're very anxious right now. If we come from a space of non-judgment and compassion and love, that truly is such a powerful divine masculine energy that we can do. Is deeply present with no goal. And this is one of the things that is so lost in society today, is being completely present. And the reason why this is so important is truly because when you understand that the energy of your reality, of your current reality right now, is old energy, thoughts, patterns, beliefs that you have created. And the only way to create a new reality is to be completely present in the situation. Have you ever been in a situation where you're in a relationship and you're so present with each other and you're so dialed in and you're locked into each other's thoughts, you're locked into each other's energy, you're locked into each other's vulnerability, and you're open to receiving and giving love? It is the most beautiful, powerful feeling in the world when you're in that space where it's just so present, right? Put your phone down, have a conversation with the person, connect with them, look in their eyes, pull their energy into yours and give their energy to you. It is such a different form of a relationship than, being on your phone all the time, being in your mind, being scattered, being all over the place. And when you're scattered and all over the place, again, that's a wounded energy that's in your mind, right? But when you're very, very present with your partner, it allows you to feel loved, and it allows them to feel loved and seen and heard. And that is one of the biggest, most important things that is missing in society today. So has integrity and awareness. And this is one of the biggest things for me. And my partner's probably the greatest human I know. He for sure is the greatest man that I know. But he always comes through with awareness and integrity. And sometimes both of us are in the wounded masculine and the wounded feminine when we're triggered. But when he comes across with integrity and awareness of his actions and awareness of his wounds and awareness of my wounds and awareness of my actions, it allows me to soften so much, and I feel so safe and so loved because he is in that space of integrity, and he's living from his soul and he's living from his heart, and it's his true essence, right, is coming through. And he has so much awareness of where we were wounded and where we're not. It's such a beautiful gift. And truly, the most in love with him I ever am is when he is in his integrity and when he's in an awareness, because I feel like it's divinity through him. And I just feel so connected to him when he's living authentically, when I'm living authentically, when he asks me to show up authentically, when he has an awareness when we're not. That is the most beautiful feeling in the world to me, is that when someone is in their authentic true self and aware of your authentic true self and their authentic true self, and aware when they're not being in that space, it is so powerful, and it will transform your relationship. That one thing will transform your relationship for sure. Now, the beautiful feminine, divine feminine is my favorite energies in the entire world. It really is. Now, the divine feminine comes home, the divine masculine comes home to the divine feminine. We actually create life with the feminine energy. I mean, we create babies, we create life, we create projects. This is the creative energy. And it is my favorite energy on the planet. It truly is a safe haven for the divine masculine to come home and feel embodied in their power, right? We get to create that for our partner. We get to create the space of nurturing and loving and being vulnerable and soft and surrendering to flow, right? When you're trying to control the situation and you're trying to control the outcome, that's not surrender and flow. But when you, and I've realized in my relationship, and again, this is the best relationship I've ever been in my entire life. And we actually have a lot of unhealthy things that we've had to heal, but with the kindness and the love and the support that we have for each other is unbounded. And it is truly because we work towards almost daily our healthy masculine and healthy feminine energies, and we cultivate the space of healthy masculine and healthy feminine, and we call each other out when we're being unhealthy, right? And we allow each other to be vulnerable, we allow each other to open our hearts, we allow each other to be human, and we ask each other to rise, and that's the difference, right? And so surrendering to flow, not trying to control this. This was a big thing for me. I'm a type A, athlete that's played 5 different sports my entire life. I like to control. I like, I like schedule. I like things organized. And what I have found is that when I do try to control, or when I'm in my unhealthy masculine and I try to be in the masculine, it doesn't allow him to be in his masculine energies. And so I will talk about that in the next segment. I want to get through this before we get to the commercial break of what it looks like. And then we're going to teach you how to move from the unhealthy to the empowered masculine and feminine energies. Compassionate. This is a really big one to understand, is that compassion is and empathy is such a huge feminine energy. And really, when the masculine energy, when they feel the compassion from the feminine energy, what happens is it's this magnetic field that just gets pulled in. You literally get, like, they pull into you, because that is the safe space for them. When there's compassion, when there's empathy, it's opening their heart space and your heart space. And playful, this is one of my favorite energies as well. I'm a unicorn in one breath and a wild horse in another. And my unicorn is when someone allows me to be in my unicorn. That is my divine feminine energies. It is so playful. It is fun. It is joyful. It is life-giving to be around when you're playful, right? And so life doesn't need to be so heavy and stressful and strenuous and constant, like in your mind. It's when you're playful, you're dancing through life, and you're bringing joy into your space and into your relationship. Authentic and intuitive, and this is really powerful for the divine feminine. When you are not in your power and you're not authentic, and as in society today, women have to live up to a lot, right? And men do as well. But in the healthy feminine, just be you, right? Love and embrace all of you. I am truly, truly, I have thousands of different personalities, and I embrace all of them. And I really can say this from the depth of my soul, that I am my favorite human on the planet. I love who I am. I'm 51 years old, and it took me my entire life to be comfortable in my skin, and comfortable with my diva, and comfortable with my inner child, and comfortable with my crazy ass person that jumps off cliffs, and comfortable and authentic enough in my relationship with the man that I love more than anything to be me. And he has seen me at my worst, and he has seen me at my best, and that's the truth of a relationship, is when you see people not just for where they are, right, but you see them beyond. You see their soul. You see them when they look terrible. You see them when they're acting terrible, and you see all of them, right? And authentically, I do this for a living, guys, and I do this work. Something came up this week, and in our relationship, that was massive, like massive, massive, massive. And it was hard for me. It was really, really hard. I was super insecure. And I said to him, I said, I'm incredibly insecure in this moment right now, right? That is being authentic. I wasn't hiding who I was. It was just, I was feeling those feelings, and it came up, and feelings are going to come up. And that's the thing, guys, is that the wounded will come up, because the triggers are there to be released and healed and expand from, right? And so what happened when I came back, from we were just away. And what happened when I came back is I sat down and I was like, I got work to do. A lot happened to me this week, and I went through this exercise. I was like, when he acts like this in his wounded masculine, I went through every single wounded masculine characteristic, and I said it triggers my wounded feminine. Right, when I'm in my wounded masculine, it triggers his wounded feminine, and it was back and forth, but what I realized is that I went through that exact exercise. What I realized is that when I'm empowered, I am authentic, right? It is the most powerful thing for me is when I am authentic. And the final one is intuition, right? And so the divine feminine is very, very intuitive. And when you're listening to your gut and when you feel like something's off or you feel like something's off with your partner, it usually is. Right. And so when you're bonding from a space of the healthy masculine and the healthy feminine, this is the divine union and this is the divine love. And this is when you get to bring your love out to the world. When you're trauma bonding and you're moving through the space from the wounded space, that's what you're bringing out to the world as well. So relationships are mirrors. We're going to talk deeply into that in the next segment. I do have to take a quick commercial break because we're way over on the commercial. But it was very important to understand this entire piece is that you are matching their energy. And so I'm going to teach you in the next segment how to move from the wounded into the empowered. And we will be right back, guys. Stay tuned. Hi guys, welcome back. Thank you so much for being on the Soul on Fire show. Thank you for watching live and thank you for watching on the replay. If this show is resonating with you, please share it out to the world because we need the world to have more empowerment in their life. Today, we're talking about trauma bonding and the difference between the masculine energies and in the wounded space and the feminine energies in the wounded space and the divine and masculine and the divine feminine. We're talking about how you match energy in a relationship and how it shows up in your relationship when you argue, when you bond, and how if you're bonding together from a place of unhealthy masculine or unhealthy feminine, you are trauma bonding. And if you move into the space of a healthy masculine and a healthy feminine, then you're coming from divine love and divine union. So guys, welcome back. My name is Noelle Agape. I'm a leading expert in health, wellness, and consciousness. I'm an NLP master trainer, and I am also a quantum energy trainer as well. We merge science and spirituality to get you to the greatest version of you, set your soul on fire, and ignite the passion within. Today, we are talking deeply about relationships and understanding how to move through the energies of wounded relationships and wounded energies that you're matching in trauma bonding. And so in the first segment, we went deep into understanding how the masculine energies look and how in the wounded and how the feminine energies look in the wounded and how they look in the healthy space. What I want to do right now in this segment is I want you to do right now is I want you to look into your life. We're going to do a little exercise and I'm going to show you how to move from the empowered space into the enlightened space. I mean, from the wounded space into the enlightened space in your relationship and what that looks like. So often what happens is that, go through the characteristics and say, okay, this is my trigger. What I want you to do is I want you to find your trigger, right? And so your trigger is when, for example, I'll use mine. So when my partner is avoidant, it triggers me, which is the wounded masculine, right? It triggers me to be in my anxious energy, and it triggers me to blow up his phone. It triggers me to respond in a way that is not, feminine at all. And it's the trauma bonding, and then we wind up getting in a big fight. Or when he is when I'm in my masculine and I'm trying to control, it doesn't allow him to be in his space. And he actually looked at me and he's like, you're not allowing me to be in the man in this situation. Right. And so my trigger is the avoidant personality, right. Or the disconnect. And From the trigger, I want you to find, so you find your trigger, right? What's the trigger? How do you feel? I feel hurt. I feel unloved. I feel sad. I feel guilty. I feel shame. Whatever it is, there's 5 feelings and 5 core beliefs. I want you to find the feeling. Fear, anger, hurt, sadness, guilt, and shame, right? And from that space, behind that, right, what is the pattern that you always do after the trigger? Right after the trigger, right after the reaction. I feel this way. I'm triggered. I feel this way. I respond this way, right? After the response, what I want you to do is I would say, this is the core belief of mine. I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough. I'm not safe, secure, and protected. I'm not lovable. I'm not whole and complete, right? Where am I feeling right now? With that being said, that's the awareness piece, right? So now I know when he gets avoidant, oh, he's avoidant. I get to choose if I'm going to get triggered or not, because God's never going to take our free will. I get to choose this space to be used as a mirror for my wounds and not match his wounds and go into a different space. I'm going to choose to be in the feminine, and I'm going to lean back right now. As he's avoidant, I'm going to lean back. I'm going to allow him that space he needs to breathe. I'm going to let him see what he needs to do. Let him do his work, me do my work. I'm going to be in that space, right? And so that's a healthy relationship when you're moved from the trauma bonding and you notice and you're aware of the trauma bonding. But the spiritual mature relationship actually takes action in it. And so I know that when he gets avoidant, I lean in, right? And I start to chase and I start to lean into my wounded feminine. Now that I've done this activity and I did the work yesterday, I get to be in my empowered feminine and I get to say, this is my boundary. And I have a conversation with him and say, this hurt me. I was feeling hurt. I was feeling unloved in this moment, not in the moment of the trauma, but when there's a pause and there's a break and you can go back and you can have clarity and you could say, this is what I was feeling in this moment. And empower yourself in that space as well. But what is the key to all of this? And this is the most important thing that I teach, is that whatever is showing up as the trauma bond, whether it's the wounded masculine or the wounded feminine, the opposite will always attract it. So if he is triggering my wounded feminine, but he's in his wounded masculine, what I actually need to do is be in my divine feminine for his wounded masculine to soften. Is that making sense, guys? So if he's in his wounded feminine, I actually have to be in my divine masculine for him to be empowered, right? So it's the opposite of whatever it is that is showing up. So find the trigger, find the feeling behind the trigger, find the pattern that you do behind that, then find the core belief. This is where you get to make a conscious choice. And it may take a minute, right? But you get to do the inner work and have the awareness. He's showing up this way. How can I show up differently? I need to soften. I need to empower him. I need to hold space right now. Whatever it is, whether it's masculine or feminine, because both male and female have the masculine and feminine energies in it, whatever it is showing up in your partner, you're going to show up, the other is going to show up in you. So if you're trauma bonding in the wounded masculine, the wounded feminine is always going to show up. Unless you're two masculines fighting against each other, and that's a war. When I tell you two masculines fighting against each other, there's no polarity at all, right? So the trauma bond is the polarity of the lower vibrations and the lower toxic energies that are pulling and pushing and pushing. But what will happen and repel you incredibly fast is if you're both in the wounded feminine or you're both in the wounded masculine, because what happens is there's no polarity to make it go back and forth. So the reason why people feel that the deep connection in the trauma bond is because there is still the polarity where it's the push and pull, but you're just moving through these toxic energies, right? When you are both in your masculine or both in your feminine energies, there's no polarity. And so what's going to happen is In the wounded masculine, it's going to be a war. Like, it's going to be competitive. It's going to be fighting. It's going to be aggressive. And in the wounded feminine, if both of you are in the wounded feminine, you're both going to be in victim, and it's going to be a lot of depression and crying, and it's all of it's terrible, right? Don't do any of that. So the awareness of where you are is the most important thing. The awareness of your trigger in that space is the most important thing. The awareness of how that makes you feel, that trigger makes that feel. I'm going to go even further now. What is it teaching you, right? How am I not empowered? How am I not in my divine feminine? How am I not in my divine masculine? What is it teaching me to do differently in this relationship so I can show up as the greatest version for myself, for him, and for our family, right? And so whatever that looks like, and then the greatest thing is that once you move this energy just doesn't go away. It just gets transmuted, right? So you move from the lower vibrations, you move from the lower frequencies into the higher frequencies, you merge together, right? What happens in the energetic fields is two beautiful, powerful energies are coming together, right? That is a force of nature. So the love that you transmute from the victim into this beautiful, empowered couple, right? Or the love that you transmute from the narcissist and the empath, or the runner chaser, into two people that are whole and complete in their power. When you come together and you bring that out to the world, it is a vibration like no other. And it is the most powerful vibration in the planet. Love is the one of the most powerful vibrations in the planet. And one person in their empowered love, in their empowered enlightenment, is more powerful than a million. When the two of you come together in a relationship, we can truly change humanity by doing this, guys. So when you understand the power of love, when you understand that it is one of the most powerful vibrations in the planet, and it could be used as a weapon or a tool in your relationship, it is so important to understand, am I in my wounded? Am I in my unhealthy masculine? Am I in my wounded? Am I in my unhealthy feminine? Am I trauma bonding? Are we going back and forth? Are we combating? Are we in victim? Or are we changing and transmuting this energy to have a beautiful relationship, to come together as one, bring that vibration out to the planet, and truly, truly, one, not just have joy and love and bliss in your life and fun and playfulness, but also have a healthy relationship, but also changing the vibration of the planet, which we need more than ever now. So what does that mean, and what does that look like? It means that we get to do this work. I literally yesterday spent hours doing this work. I've been doing this work for 20 years. I have 5 coaches. I have a spiritual advisor. I do this for a living, and I still have the work to do, guys. I promise you, though, if you stay in your power, and you look at yourself from not the wounded space of the victim, and not even just emotional intelligence of awareness, but you take inspired action to make conscious choices and conscious changes in your life, always, it will change who you are. It will change your relationship. It will truly change the dynamic of everything that you are in your relationship. It will change your entire being. It will change your family. It will change who you are as a person. Taking accountability is such an important part of being in a relationship. Taking ownership, apologizing, but changing your behavior, right? How many times do people apologize and then they do the same exact thing over again? Spiritual maturity is understanding that you get a choice. You get to choose your relationship. You get to choose who you are. You get to choose the people that you are in. You get to have boundaries. You get to not live in a wounded trauma space. And you get to truly, truly, truly have love at the highest level. We will be right back, guys. That was a lot to come in. I'm going to give you key takeaways to do in your relationship when you get into a trauma bond situation when we get back. Right back, guys. We'll be right back. Hi guys, welcome back. Thank you so much for being on the Soul on Fire show. Thank you for watching live and thank you for watching the replay. Today we're talking about trauma bonding. We're talking about moving from trauma into unhealthy masculine and unhealthy feminine into the empowered feminine and then the empowered masculine. Again, all of us have these energies inside of us, both of these energies. And so in the first segment, we broke down what it looks like in the masculine and when it's wounded, in the masculine when it's healthy. We broke down what it looked like in the feminine when it's healthy and when it's wounded, excuse me. And in the second segment, what we did was we did an exercise and I showed you how to find what was your trigger. I showed you how to work through that trigger. I showed you how to be in an empowered state of being. And I showed you how to move that into your relationship. I also told you that once you move up the vibrational scale in your relationship, you're bringing love out to the universe in a much, much more powerful way. We all need that right now, right? All we need is love in this space of society. And the more that we do the inner work, the more that the outer work and the outer world will change. And it's our responsibility as thought leaders to truly, truly have healthy, loving, conscious relationships. And when you want to have a loving, conscious relationship, it is always a choice. So, and that is what my key takeaway is for today, guys, is that love is a choice. Love is a vibration. It is not an emotion. I'm just going to say that again. Love is a vibration. It is not an emotion, because love as an emotion comes with all of the stories that you have come with, right? So all of the wounded background, all of the belief systems, your entire life, all of the patterns, all the generations, all the race, the gender, whatever it is that comes with the story of love. That's not the truth. Love is a vibration that you can actually get to because it is a frequency. And when you choose the frequency of love, joy, bliss, fun, excitement, adventure, things, enlightenment, as opposed to choosing fear, hurt, anger, sadness, guilt, and shame, and trauma bonding with each other, right? Have an awareness, come from a place of emotional intelligence. Do the inner work, right? Do the inner work. I am triggered right now. I am feeling triggered. This is what I'm feeling in this trigger. This is the pattern that happens when I do that. This is the wounded masculine and the wounded feminine, and this is my belief system around it. I get to choose to do differently. What do I need to do differently? How do I have to act differently? How do I have to show up differently? If he's showing up in his wounded masculine, and are we trauma bonding in the wounded feminine? Or can I show up in my empowered feminine while he's in his wounded masculine and hold space for him to get there, right? Love is a choice. It is a vibration and it is a choice. It is an empowered choice on a daily basis to be in a conscious relationship. And I want to talk about boundaries, right? Because we talked a lot about trauma bonding. We talked about moving into the feminine and the masculine energies. Boundaries are one of the most important parts of empowerment. Boundaries from a space of healthy masculine and healthy feminine, not a space of F you, you did this to me, I'm a victim, and you can't do this ever again. That's the victim, that's the warrior. The boundary of the space of, no, I choose this to not be in my life. And I made a conscious choice yesterday to not partake in the energies of trauma bonding and the wounded masculine and wounded feminine anymore. And it's always going to come up because there's, relationships are mirrors. They are the greatest teachers. We are here to experience and to expand. And when you're not expanding, your experience, especially in relationships, will be, very toxic. And so to avoid toxic, I'm sorry, I'm losing my voice, but to avoid toxic relationships, how do you avoid toxic relationships? First of all, you become the best version of you that you need to be, and you move into your both your masculine and your feminine in the divine space, right? You do the inner work. Secondly, you get help if you need it. Thirdly, you truly are open and vulnerable with your partner. And if you're not in a space where you're moving into an empowered space, but your partner's not, there will be a time energetically where you disconnect, because you cannot be in the divine feminine or the divine masculine while they are in their wounded. because what will happen is eventually you will be at completely different ends of the spectrum on the vibrational scale, and you won't be a vibrational match anymore. And so like attracts like. And I want to ask you this question is, what are you attracting into your relationship? Are you attracting what are you attracting your wounds of your father? Are you attracting your wounds of your mother? Are you attracting the wounds of your childhood? Or are you attracting in divine love? Are you bringing out to the world the vibration of love? Because it is a constant choice, and it's just not one choice and saying, I'm going to choose this and that's it. It is a constant choice on a daily basis that you get to have a rebirth in not only yourself, but in your relationship. You wake up and you say, I have the best relationship of my life. I journal all the time. I have the best relationship of my life. My kids are so healthy. I love my home. I come from gratitude. I have so much gratitude for my partner. I mean, I probably say thank you to him more than I have to anybody in my entire life. I'm so grateful for him. I write down every single day, our relationship's so beautiful and so loving and so kind. And there are moments where it's not, and I have to go back and adjust, but I'm constantly segment intending that I'm in a great relationship. This is the divine union. It's so beautiful. It is healthy. I'm so grateful for him. I'm grateful for my children. I'm grateful for our home. I'm grateful for our businesses. I pull gratitude into it. And that is the most important thing that I can say to you, is that even when we are trauma bonding, even when we are in the wounded masculine and the wounded feminine, we go very quickly through it because both of us are so conscious, so aware, and so authentic with each other. We're so open to change. We're so open to grow. We move through it at God's speed because both of us have committed our life to being the best version of ourselves. Both of us are thought leaders that come out to the world, but both of us know we don't want to hurt each other, right? We don't want to hurt us. We don't want to hurt our children. We don't want to hurt our children that are not our children. They're each other's children. A mature spiritual, mature relationship has authenticity. It has vulnerability. It has pain, and you move through the pain, and it is understanding that you get to choose each other. Love is a choice. It is a vibration, and it is a powerful tool that you could use for happiness, for joy, for love, for passion, for purpose. For us, we choose to use it as purpose. Through the pain is always the purpose. We bring this energy back out to the world and we teach. You get to use that however you want in your life, but in a relationship, it is a mirror of what's going on inside of you. It is not, this person did this to me. It is, this person is showing me how I'm not in my divine feminine. This person is showing me how I'm not in my divine masculine. Oh, I can be better. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for showing me that lesson. Thank you for showing me where I could be more empowered. Thank you for showing me where we were trauma bonding. Thank you for showing me where we can change humanity with this vibration. You are more powerful than you will ever know, and your vibration is the most important thing for you to understand. You are God's source universe in a physical body. God comes through you. You get to bring your greatness, your gifts, your joy, your love out to the world. It is a beautiful, beautiful vibration. Love is the most powerful force in the universe. It is my favorite vibration. When I am in love, I am the happiest person in the entire planet. You get to choose love, and love is always a choice. Love is the greatest gift that we have. It is divinity within you. And when you are connected to you and God's source in the universe, and you are connected to your partner and you're connected to your family, it is an unstoppable, unbreakable bond. You're more powerful than you will ever know. Choose love always. I love you guys so, so much. Please go to noelleagape.com if you have any questions. I have tons of courses there. I have free gifts for you. I have free activations and meditations. Share this video out to the entire world because the world needs more love. We need more of you in your divine power, your divine feminine, and your divine masculine energies. Merge with those. Do not trauma bond anymore. Connect to love because it is the greatest vibration on the planet. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next video.